Simmons, is this the dagger?
The NBA slogan, "Where amazing happens," perfectly describes the contents of this video. Over the years of the NBA's existence, some iconic moments have dropped a lot of jaws, from the classical blocks and shots to the heart-stopping buzzer beaters. At number 10, we have Julius Erving's dunking. Erving was made popular in the NBA as the man who transformed the art of dunking. The high-flying performances he showed off on a nightly basis kept NBA fans worldwide hooked on a new aspect of the game that was not so obvious before him. However, the move that made him make our list was his hang time and playmaking abilities, with a one-handed reverse layup that no doubt stunned the Philadelphia 76ers crowd. And after a lot of years, that play still amazes a lot of NBA fans. At number 9, we have Michael Jordan's popular The Shot. When talking about epic moments, it would be downright sinful not to mention the GOAT himself. Jordan's shot over Craig Elo in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs between the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers in 1989 is definitely worth mentioning. While under attack by Larry Nance, with little over 2 seconds left, Jordan managed to wiggle out and made a jumping mid-range shot over Craig Elo to give the Bulls a 3-2 series lead that helped the Bulls move on. The celebration was just as iconic as the actual shot, with Jordan jumping high in the air, fist-pumping, and showing the competitive streak that is now well known from MJ. Ray Allen's playoff-saving three-pointer comes in at number 8. LeBron has no doubt accomplished enough personally to earn himself a place as one of the greatest basketball players of all time in his generation. But he should thank Ray Allen and Chris Bosh for keeping his Miami Heat alive in the 2013 NBA Finals. With 15 seconds left, losing by 3 and down 3-2 to the San Antonio Spurs in the series. If LeBron didn't miss a three-pointer and a rebound, he would have very likely won the finals for his team. Fortunately, Bosh rebounded the ball and passed it out to legendary sharpshooter Ray Allen, who made a heavily contested three-pointer which sent the game to overtime. The Heat won in overtime and still won Game 7, giving LeBron his second championship at the time. But let's not forget who really saved that game. And at number 7, we have the infamous Malice at the Palace. This one is going to stick out like a sore thumb, as it's probably the biggest disgrace in NBA history. In the final minute of a blowout between the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons, Ron Artest fouled Pistons center Ben Wallace very hard, and Wallace retaliated instantly. After the situation seemed to calm down, a fan tossed a beer at Artest, who was on the scorer's table, and the proverbial dumb hit the fan. No pun intended. Artest and teammate Steven Jackson jumped into the stands and started fighting fans at the Palace at Auburn Hills. The situation continued to escalate, and the game was called without the time running out, making this more infamous than epic. Moving on to number 6. We have hawk-eyed Steve Nash. When it comes down to passing, nobody in the league does it better than Steve Nash. His ability to find teammates in the tightest of spaces and most obscure of places has earned him 2 MVP awards and an easy future Hall of Fame nomination in the process. You can go through several videos finding Nash's astounding ability to find teammates through ridiculous passes, but none was as epic as the gem he gave to Amari Stoudemire. On this particular play, Nash drove the lane and garnered the attention of 3 different San Antonio Spurs. Instead of forcing a bad shot or throwing a wayward pass, Nash already knew what he was doing before the play began and threw a pass around the back of Tim Duncan into the hands of Stoudemire, who finished the play with a ferocious dunk. Talking about ferocious dunks, this is something that has given Daryl Dawkins a reputation in NBA history. At number 5, we have Dawkins' odd impact on the NBA. The backboards are not made of glass anymore for a reason, and you can thank Daryl Dawkins for that. At 6'11" and 255 pounds, Dawkins was already a force to be reckoned with in the NBA. He wasn't too much of a scorer, but more recognized as a bruiser. In fact, Dawkins recorded the NBA record for most fouls in a season, with 386 during the 83-84 season. Considering he played 81 games that season, it equates to nearly 5 fouls per contest. How about that? Although fouls aren't what Dawkins was known for by the NBA world. What we know of Dawkins is that he was the first NBA player ever to destroy an NBA regulation basket. On November 11, 1979, Daryl sent players running after he broke the glass backboard on a thunderous slam that sent shards to the court. It wasn't over though, as Dawkins repeated the feat on December 6, 1979, by shattering the board and this time taking the rim down in the process. The league decided that players will be fined from now on for breaking the board, before finally institutionalizing unbreakable backboards. But the unbreakable backboards didn't stop Shaquille O'Neal from doing the next best thing, tearing it down. Number 4 is with O'Neal. In his time at Louisiana State University, O'Neal was a freak of nature. He was larger than any player that had ever stepped onto an NBA court, and actually had a game to go with it, as he featured a powerful low-post presence and a quickness that went unmatched by any other center. With the new backboard, nothing had been torn down or broken for over a decade, until O'Neal decided that the streak had run on long enough. In one very memorable game against the New Jersey Nets, O'Neal made an incredible slam dunk and held onto the rim longer than he should have, and tore down the entire backboard, shot clock, and nearly the stadium in the process. That epic dunk probably made the NBA want to use titanium backboards. At number 3, we have Dwight Howard doing what he does best. Dwight Howard held it down for the Orlando Magic by beating the buzzer in the most unbelievable way. With the game tied at 104 and only 0.7 seconds left, the ball was in Hedo Turkoglu's hands to inbound to a teammate, who can somehow find a way to win the game for his team. As any NBA fan knows, Howard has little to no offensive game outside of being within 5 feet of the rim. Dunking and putbacks were his specialties, and while he has been criticized for it in the past, it was his limited offensive game that gave the Magic the victory. Howard took advantage of Tim Duncan sleeping on defense and rolled to the rim, where he caught the inbound from Hedo and threw it down at the dying second, giving the incredible victory over the Spurs. This list wouldn't be complete without Kawhi Leonard's bounce. So at number 2, we have a move that made the entire stadium hold its breath. This was the first buzzer beater in a Game 7 in NBA playoff history, which is probably why the Toronto Raptors took a 1-year loan on Kawhi Leonard, with time closing up to a 90-90 defensive stalemate that seemed like it was heading for overtime. Kawhi fired a covered fadeaway from an almost impossible angle that bounced on the rim at least 4 times, before finally entering the net and sending the Raptors to the Eastern Conference Finals, keeping the fans on the edge of their seats the entire time. The Raptors won that series and the finals, with Kawhi as the MVP, to win their first championship in franchise history. And rounding up this list is Magic Johnson's Junior Skyhook at number 1, with Game 4 hanging in the balance, and the Lakers up 2-1 in the 1987 NBA Finals. The ball was put into the hands of Magic Johnson to give Los Angeles a dominating 3-1 series lead in Boston. With only 5 seconds remaining, there was no room for error for the famed point guard, who had the option of either using his astounding court vision to find somebody or take the shot himself. Johnson decided to go for the shot. Rather than take the usual jump shot, he broke out something new out of his repertoire by shooting a skyhook over the outstretched hands of Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish, a little in front of the foul line. As everybody now knows, the shot went in, giving the Lakers a 107-106 lead and an eventual victory. Los Angeles would also go on to win the series in 6 games, with the Game 4 win being the driving force behind another Lakers championship. In conclusion, players all around the world have given their shot at trying to outdo one another on the court, either from a winning or entertainment standpoint. Needless to say, the NBA has had no problem developing players that wow us on a nightly basis. From LeBron James's famous block to Magic Johnson's baby hook, it's safe to say they will continue to do just that.